Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Sheffield, along with my good friend,
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 262. Already 262. Wow.
It's a lot of episodes.
How we doing, man?
A lot of episodes. We're good, brother. We're good. Start of our week. Got a little ways to go, but we're good. We're good.
Yeah, look, I've been off Monday and Tuesday. It's weird. I've been off since Thursday. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I was dreading work tomorrow, and then I remembered, hey, it's only a 3-day week. So, then we got ECU football this weekend. But always good talking to you, Artie. Good seeing your face. I was joking about you looking like you're in your childhood bedroom with the Kobe posters behind you, but nonetheless, good seeing you. Everything good? How was the game Saturday?
Game was good. I mean, it was kind of weird being just there as a fan and not sitting in the press box, but it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. A little closer than I would have wanted to be, but ultimately,
he says as ECU won by what, 6 touchdowns?
Yeah, I mean, we won by 22, but it didn't feel like a win, a 22-point win.
What was I think?
It's 44.
I was still thinking that it was like 48-14, but no, you're right. It did get a little bit closer than I would have liked it to.
I wanted to rub the third quarter for like a hot second. We put it together.
I wanted to rub their nose in
it. Yeah. I left like, man, we could have scored 60, and there's no way they should have scored over 20. But that's okay.
we'll get into it here in a minute, Artie. But first, I want to shout out Roback. I'm rocking the Roback hoodie. It's cold outside. It's chilly. Tonight, so we had a family dinner, but I also, they do this thing if you're familiar with the Winston-Salem area, there's this place called Tanglewood, and they have a festival of lights, and you walk through the festival of lights, or you drive through the festival of lights, and it's just Christmas lights. Well, every year in early November, the Humane Society does a walk your dogs through the festival of lights. So, I take my golden boy Ficklin, and I was cold. I should have been rocking this Roback because it keeps me warm. It feels comfortable. You can sleep in it. You can wear it to work. It's the perfect attire. Go to Roback.com. Get you whatever you want. First order, 20% off. It's on us. Boneyard 20. Once again, Boneyard 20, 20% off at Roback.com. Artie, episode 262.
Yeah.
You got a 62?
I do. I got a 62 for you. Just a quick one. Oldie but goodie. And my 62 for the week is going to be one Jim Langer, Hall of Fame center for the Miami Dolphins. Because once you get into these numbers, it's all like centers and linemen, tackles, things like that. But Hall of Fame center for the Miami Dolphins during their dominant 1970s era, was a 5-time All-Pro and a key member of their 2 Super Bowl winning teams. As part of that perfect team in the 70s. So shout out Jim Langer. It's my 62 for the week.
My 62. I feel like it's hard to find like a good 62.
It's all big guys. It's the big uglies up front. That's really
I'm gonna go with former MLB center fielder, 4-time All-Star, none other than the guy Wally Burger, just for the name alone.
That's hilarious.
Born in Chicago, Artie.
Nice. Windy City love.
But he went to high school in San Francisco, California. So played a long career. I mean, had a 10-year career, and I'm guessing probably cut short by World War II. Just looking at it, like, career ended right there, 1940. So don't know much else about Wally Burger, but not a bad career. Played in Cincy. Played for the New York Giants. But yeah. All right. Artemis.
Yes, sir.
Around ECU athletics, it's been kind of a slower start on the hard court than we're used to. Women's basketball off to a 2-1 start. Second half scoring woes let the Pirates down in Lynchburg as they dropped a 69-53 contest at Liberty. Just beat Charleston Southern. The Buccaneers 91-62. They'll be in High Point this Sunday. So if you're in the 336 area, get out to High Point and go cheer on these ladies led by Kim McNeil.
Yes.
Men's basketball. 12-point halftime deficit proved too much for ECU to overcome. In Richmond on Saturday, Pirates will host. Is this Elizabeth City, Josh? Elizabeth City State University on Thursday. They're 1-1. They're 1-1. It's Mike Schwartz said, "Hey, we're scheduling a harder schedule this year."
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they've done. I mean, you start your season with Georgia Southern. I mean, yeah, they're not a world beater by any means, but it's not like you're starting against, a D3 school.
right. Some directional school in Arkansas.
So then you go on the road to, a good program in Richmond, and we all know you travel to Carolina later. It's gonna be a tough go of it for the Pirates in the non-conference.
These are some of the things you got to do, though. So
hey, exactly. If you want to build the program, this is exactly what you got to do.
Yeah.
All right, Artie. Some other news. Wake Forest. I was gonna save this. I feel like this is walk the plank material. Wake Forest cancels the 2027 game at ECU to comply with the ACC's 9+1 format. ECU is going to get paid $750,000 as a buyout for this game, and will be paid more than $350,000 to play in Winston-Salem for the 2028 matchup. Should we go ahead and just do my walk the plank here? Because, look, I've talked about Wake Forest being from Winston-Salem my entire life. Wake canceling this game, especially when you're keeping games with Tulane and Campbell. Like, come on, dude.
They're ducking us. That's all it is. It's a pure duck. it's quack quack all the way.
The Wake fans talking about like, oh well, we want to have a harder schedule. We want to schedule a powerful P4. No, you're going to go out and you're probably going to schedule Boston College as a non-conference opponent, just like NC State did with Virginia earlier this year.
Right.
Or you're going to go schedule a Purdue. Like,
and let's be real here. You're Wake Forest. There's no guarantee you're coming into our building and winning anything.
Well, that's exactly why they canceled it.
So
they don't want to play a G5 program that they know can kick their ass. They'll learn when we fill out their high school stadium with ECU fans in Winston. Show them how to tailgate. I can't wait. I'm going to talk so much shit to everybody in the city in 2020.
I was at the Wake SMU game a few weeks ago. That was homecoming for Wake. It's homecoming.
Nobody cares about Wake,
and they still didn't sell it out. I mean, it was a decent crowd, but it wasn't a sold out stadium. And you're playing a pretty good SMU program on homecoming at home.
I'm just going to say, nobody here in Winston, like, yes, you have Wake fans. But at the end of the day, people aren't saying, like, Wake Forest doesn't shut the city down.
Yeah, that's true. By any stretch of the imagination.
Like, I half the time I don't know that there's a Wake Forest football game going on. and I live 7 minutes from their stadium. Wake, you can walk the damn plank. That is some soft stuff right there. Call that Charmin Ultra Soft.
Pure duck.
All right, Arnie. ECU Charlotte.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. You were there. Unfortunately, I could not get there. I had prior commitments, but talk to me. How was the game?
Game was great. It felt like one of those games where you gotta grab the guy's attention after the first 15 minutes, because ECU basically put this game away in the first quarter. I mean, with the amount of points they scored in that, from opening kick, and then it's like, okay, well, at this point you gotta keep the energy of the guys. You gotta keep them up. You gotta keep them motivated, because I mean the game, like I said, is essentially over after the first quarter. They give Charlotte credit. They fought. They didn't lay down to us. They had some things that working for them on offense. I don't like the fact that they scored 22 points. I'll be completely honest. Charlotte had no business scoring that many points in this game.
Scoring points hasn't been their problem most of the season. Now they've had.
I could care less who else they played. They shouldn't have came into our building and scored over 20. That's just,
I agree, but at the same time, a lot of them were on fourth down chunk plays.
Yeah.
I believe their first touchdown was on like a 4th and 9 and ended up being like a 45-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah. I will say though, and I know we kind of beat a dead horse on this, but you've got a pretty good football program now. Like, there's no excuse to really still have a half-empty stadium, or people at least not staying past halftime outside of, people in the chairbacks. That's really about it. So I'm just going to continue to call that out. Like, you got a 6-3.
It's bullshit. I'll call it out. If you're leaving right now at halftime, just stay your ass at home.
Student section, non-existent. I mean, just absolutely non-existent. Just not there.
For the longest time, we have said, like, oh, ECU has one of the better atmospheres in the group of 5 in the country. And that is true for the first half. Second half rolls around, crickets. It's embarrassing. I get it. It's a 1-7 football team. All you've asked for, everything that every time we have this discussion, already,
right?
It's if
the team was better,
you've got a 6-3 team receiving votes.
The team is better now. So why are we leaving?
You've lost 2 games by 1 score. You could very well have an 8-1 football team right now who still has a chance to make it to the conference championship game.
Right.
Outside chance, but still has a chance nonetheless.
Still a chance.
Like, what more could you want after the Scotty Montgomery and Blake Harrell years? What more could you want? Or Mike Houston, excuse me, I got a little ahead of myself. Blake Harrell is the guy leading it, and I saw a tweet today saying, like, oh, who would be your group of 5 coach of the year in each conference? And I get why somebody would name Alex Golish at USF. I don't think anybody outside of Greenville and the Boneyard podcast thought this ECU team could make some noise. And I mean, most people in Greenville didn't think that.
Right. To be
a lot of, I mean, the over under on wins, I believe this year coming into this year was 5.5.
Yeah.
We're at 6. We got 3. I mean, we got what, 3 games left to play?
Yeah.
And we've already hit the over. And it feels like there's a mentality and culture shift happening within this football program. And it's time for these fans and students to get off their ass and be there. They better damn sell this place out or come close to it Saturday. You want meaningful football in November? This is what you got to do.
Yeah, I'll just say, this is Memphis too, right? I mean, this is a team that a lot of people have making the playoff, winning the conference. You got them at home. This is the biggest game of the season so far in terms of our hopes of still trying to make a conference championship game. You gotta sell this one out. And when I say sell out, I mean actually not just sold tickets, but asses in seats inside the stadium, student section rocking.
If you're not going to be able to make it, sell your tickets, give them away. Like, hell, give them away. Like, the athletic department's basically giving them away at this point.
Right. Because they want people there. They understand how
Get
big
there. It is. Just support these guys. It's senior day. And Artie, if it wasn't for Tulane playing spoiler last week, my prediction from early in the year when we were looking at our schedule and looking at games that were going to be interesting and important, I said, do not sleep on that ECU Memphis game.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you remember what I said, and I wish we had this clipped because I've been saying it for the longest time. I said there could be conference championship implications riding on that game. While I think the conference championship discussion has sailed for Memphis.
Yeah, because
it's still wide open for East Carolina. Now they need some help, but it's still there. And the first thing they got to do is they got to beat Memphis on Saturday. So, but I called that. I'm going to take my victory lap because I called that early. I think back in the spring I called that. But all right, Artie, we got a long time friend of the podcast coming on the show tonight.
Absolutely excited for this one.
This one is one that when we look at the schedule and we see this football program on our schedule, we know who we're calling. This guy, like the first time we had him on, like we didn't really know what was going to happen. And then we left that conversation thinking that, man, that was a fun conversation. We just talked ball. And honestly, we should, even when we don't play Memphis, we should have this guy on because he's a good guy to talk to. Fun. Our guest this week, Memphis Spence. Memphis Spence, welcome to the Boneyard podcast. Welcome back, my friend. How's it going?
Gentlemen, I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on. But both of you, Artie, Jared, y'all are holding it down. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are holding it down. ECU is holding it down now. And I honestly, I mean, seriously, we got this interview or this invitation a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I was going to be coming to the show saying, okay, hopefully ECU doesn't spoil our chances of winning the conference championship. Now I'm on the show. Like, Memphis, hopefully we can spoil ECU's chances of winning the conference championship because y'all are in the driver's seat, man. Y'all are the one-loss team in the conference right now, and Tulane just took our lunch and ate it in front of us. And I'll say this. From what I saw from last week from ECU, I'm not entirely sure that ECU doesn't eat our lunch this week. We got some injuries, both on that offensive line, and our QB is a little dinged up a little bit right now. So he's having a hard time moving around. And your defense is better than ours. Our defense has been suspect all this year. Bend but don't break, but then they bend and break in the worst possible times. So I don't know. I think ECU might get away. Home game. Is it senior night too?
It is senior night.
Oh man, I don't know. It'll be rough. It'll be rough, gentlemen.
Yeah, really. The only the second day game that ECU's played. I mean, if you even want to call a 4:00 game, I mean everything's been at night this year. But yeah, we're hoping that we'll have a decent crowd there. I know you were listening backstage to our spiel about it, but. Yeah, I mean, talk to me. This Memphis team had a lot of high hopes coming into the season.
Yeah.
They kind of dropped that game at UAB, and people are looking around like, what happened? I mean, your quarterback goes down early. You just can't get things to come together. It seems like every team that's fired a coach this year has then gone on to win a big game, unless you're Penn State. Which they almost got theirs this past weekend.
That's true.
But
that's true.
Just looking at it, like things started to kind of unravel. It feels like in that UAB game or after that UAB game.
Another, and I'll give Silverfield his flowers because he's really strung together a team that I didn't have as high hopes as a lot of others. I didn't know that. I mean, Memphis is going to be Memphis. We're going to have talent, but we have the most transfers in the nation. I didn't think it was going to work out. We have 70-something transfers on that squad. I was like, oh, this is a Frankenstein squad. We'll be lucky if they're playing together by game 4. No. Came out hot, started beating folks. That Arkansas game, the way it started off, basically mirrors every loss we've had. We were down huge in the first half. Same thing with UAB, same thing with Tulane. But when we get behind the 8 ball like that and defensive coordinators really read what we're trying to do and just take it away, it's trying to come back in that fourth quarter. It just doesn't work all the time, especially if your QB, is struggling with ankle issues. And Brendan Lewis, he's not as mobile as he should be. He was a legit dual threat quarterback. You take that away, not as scary, honestly. Not as scary. He can still throw it. He can still zip it. But keeping linebackers kind of on their heels is what he used to do. Now they're just keying in. They're zeroing in. And because of that, man, I'm sure ECU is going to see the same thing. I mean, I don't see any difference. His health, he's still a game time decision, but I expect him to play. And is it Blake Harrell or Harrell?
Harrell, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to come on here talking about family, but yeah, he's gonna figure it out. It's not the schematic that we're running. I mean, we run almost the same spread. The teams honestly mirror each other a lot if you look at it. But we've run almost the same spread that you all run, just a few different plays and a few different sets varying from that spread. Defenses, a little bit different. We run a 4-3, y'all are in a 4-2-5. But that 4-2-5, especially for a game like this, is going to take away a lot of what Memphis does and keep it in front of them. So this is a road game that I was looking on the schedule at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I don't know about this one. Because ECU has knocked us off a couple of times when we had some high hopes. That, the Battle of the Bones, and Tulane, those are the three. That, honestly, USF, USF hasn't beaten Memphis since before we knew what COVID was. So I wasn't worried about them. They usually do a good job at, laying down themselves. We don't have to do much. But ECU is always a rough game. Tulane's always a rough game. Thank God UCF is gone. And because we could never beat them. But those are usually our opponents or whatnot. And we love this ECU game because it feels the teams feel equal usually when we go out there and play.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed there's some letdown after last week. Obviously, losing to Tulane, and you beat Tulane. Obviously, I mean the sky's the limit. The playoff is still there. The conference championship obviously still there. Yeah. So I know that letdown coming into this game is naturally going to be there. But what would you say, like the key takeaways if Memphis is going to go into Dowdy and pull that off?
Sutton Smith is going to have to, and I said actually this with the Arkansas game. Sutton Smith's going to have 100 yards rushing. Period, because Lewis is going to be. when the season started, I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, we got 3 legit running threats, including our QB. This is fantastic. We could set up, we could run, 22 personnel out there and just have all these threats around, and you're just like, oh, look at this." But now it's the weight of this game is going to be on Sutton Smith and trying to stop Sutton Smith. And it's not that easy. I think low key, I think he's about a 6th, 7th rounder in the NFL right now. He has that type of talent. He has that twitch talent that people have been, drafting out of Memphis for the last few years now. We have quite a few backs in the league right now. And he has that same type of skill set. Doesn't turn it over that much. And if we hold on to the ball and Sutton has 100, we'll be in the game. Win it? I don't know. But we'll definitely be in the game in the 4th quarter if he's, pushing 100 yards without, and we haven't really turned the ball over in any meaningful part of the game. I think that's the key for us to win this game, because turnovers and when they've either won us the game or lost us the game.
Yeah.
That Tulane game, that was just, everybody wanted to throw up after that. So,
I mean, the first half Jay Kretzloff had against y'all, it seemed like
that was his Heisman moment.
They got up. They did to y'all what they couldn't quite do to ECU in that game several weeks ago or about a month ago. When you look at that ECU Tulane,
I'll say this on your show, but I'll say this on your show, and hopefully it doesn't get back to the Memphis crowd. ECU's defense is better than Memphis. And I hate saying that because I'm a defensive guy, right? I hate it. I vote on like all but one of the college football playoff or college football awards for defense. And it just eats me up. I'm like, man, there's like maybe one guy that I can keep my eye on, but everybody else just, I hate watching our defense just throw up on each other basically every game. Your defense is much more solid than ours and makes a lot less mistakes than ours, especially in bigger moments. Since the beginning of the year, and remember, these guys there's like 70 new guys on the squad. I wasn't expecting much, but then we got expectations, and now those have been yanked away, and I was like, this probably end up like an 8-4 squad that I thought it was. It's just unfortunate that, most of those 8 games were in the beginning to make us believe that this was going to happen. But it's y'all. You all have a better defense than us right now. Offensively, we were better until Lewis got injured. Now I don't know. It's a crapshoot. Just 2 top 40 defenses offenses going at each other. But there's only one top 40 defense, which is y'all. We're in the 60s somewhere. So.
Yeah, it's. Especially now that ECU seems to have found something in the running game on offense.
Finally.
I mean,
right.
Early in the year, it seemed like tough sledding. It was going to be tough sledding, and we thought. I said after the spring game, I was like, "Oh, this might be one of the deeper running back rooms that we've had." And I mean, this is a school that's turned out CJ2K, Keaton Mitchell, most recently, like these guys. And I was like, oh, this is maybe the most depth. And then they kind of crapped the bed. But yeah, they put it together. Now I want to go back to something.
Montgomery looks good though, man. Montgomery looks good.
He
really.
I think when he gets running and he starts getting downfield and running downhill, he runs aggressively. You're gonna see him run, and he's gonna kind of try to pop you in the mouth. And he wants to run right through you.
Yeah.
Same kind of goes with Marlon Gunn, and then you got Engelman, who he's kind of come out as that more shifty guy that I don't think we were quite expecting him to do that this year. And then
those are the guys
that has moments.
Those are the guys that Memphis has a hard time tackling for whatever reason. And I think it's because early in the year I was looking at the defense, especially the secondary, and I was like, these guys got too much swag. They're fast. The defense is there's a lot of 4-2 dudes on that squad, that's what surprised Arkansas. Like, oh, we're not running away from these. They're running. Oh, they're catching us and tackling us. That's crazy. But the issue is because they're fast. You know how like back in the day, in high school, and you were one of the faster folks. You're just like, I got this. It was a little bit too much confidence. Same thing. They're like, a lot of times you'll see the safeties or even the corners play a little bit too close to that line of scrimmage, which in certain circumstances when they actually call it in, it's cool. But I see them cheating, a lot. But because of that, they think they can, catch up or make it up in the air. They can beat over the top. I watched it at Tulane. I was like, it's the same thing that happened in Arkansas. It's the same thing that happened at UAB. It honestly happened with UCF or USF. There have been a lot of folks that beat us over the top. I definitely expect, Hauser to figure out a way to drop one or maybe even two bombs, in the air, and beat our defense, take the top off our defense. But unless we're playing in some sort of shell and we sit in that 4-3 until almost it's too late, then we get into this shell defense. Then I'm like, well, what are we in shell now for? You're in shell when it's close, not when you're down by 17. But it gets too late in the game, and we just run out of the time a lot of times. But ECU, I expect a couple of big bang, 40 plus passing plays to at least 2 touchdowns where you go over the top. And because it just seems easy to do this year on that Memphis squad.
Yeah.
That's
go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say on that note, like the one thing that I always call out about this ECU offense is not only the pace at which they snap the ball and get the plays in, the speed on this offense at all the receiver positions, not to mention your utility guy, Mike Wright. I mean, this is the guy. I said last week, Travis Hunter dreams of being Mike Wright, playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, cornerback, plays all over. That's the thing that you're going to see Anthony Smith or Yannick Smith get the ball thrown to them downfield multiple times. Artie, what were you going to say?
Well, I kind of had something, I guess not off topic, but just about the Memphis program, Memphis school in general, because obviously the news came out, a few months ago over the summer. They tried to bid to get to the Big 12, didn't work out. So just as someone that's close to the program, close to the school, when do you think, because they're obviously trying to get out the American, when do you think that will happen?
So interestingly enough, and I'm glad you brought that up, Artie. Interestingly enough, there are actually 2 factions going on right now, and I think it usually is always the faction that was listening to my show that was running the thing. However, we have a lot of new young fans in that Memphis collective. It's just that they're not boosters yet, and the boosters all wanted to be in the ACC, not the Big 12. I'm telling you that straight up. The boosters want to be in the ACC. The fans, like the younger fans, and some of the fans that are there now, they're like, yeah, the Big 12. And we're like, nah, we want to be back with Louisville and Georgia Tech and the old Metro. That's what, growing up, that's what I was watching, the old Metro and Penny Hardaway playing at the Pyramid. Now it's a Bass Pro Shop. But,
I thought that place closed down. Did it not?
No, it's a Bass Pro Shop now.
Wow.
Still?
It's still a Bass Pro Shop. You can take your speedboat out and pull up to the back and load up, whatever you want. It's a Bass Pro Shop. It's the craziest thing. I was like, man, I used to watch Penny Hardaway playing here, and now it's a Bass Pro Shop. Another thing that makes me throw up. But yeah, it's a now I think that people figured out like halfway through. Also, the other thing that and here's actually the science behind it. ESPN came to us and said, "Hey, don't leave." And ESPN owns the broadcast rights for the ACC.
Yeah.
ESPN also owns the broadcast rights for the American. The broadcast rights in the Big 12 are split. And they're like, no, we want to make, especially if Florida State, I was in Florida State and Clemson, who neither are winning that conference right now. That's when they were all wanted out, and they had USF, Memphis, and Tulane pegged to go to the ACC because they're just transferring. They're keeping value, basically. They're transferring it from one property to another and trying to replace the value of Clemson and Florida State if they can. They're going to try and find, at least 4 squads to replace those 2, with Memphis and USF being and Tulane being 3 of the 4. The other thing is the way that the American works now is probably the way a lot of conferences want to work. I know it's the big thing in the ACC. If Clemson and FSU can get their way, then they'll get paid the most in the ACC on a tiered system. That's the way the American works now. The teams that came in, they're not getting a full share and won't be for quite a while.
Right.
The teams that left gave their full share to the 3 aforementioned. So we're getting a little bit more. There was the amount that was advertised that everybody was splitting in the American. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting a few $1 million more than that annually, which is kind of quietly under the radar. We're like, we're not going to tell anybody. Just give us the money. Just give us the money. We're trying to rebuild a stadium and everything else over here. So we're in a good situation, honestly, financially. Now that our money can actually be shown, we've always had. I remember back in the day where I found out, I was like, Memphis is in the top 30 of boosters in the nation. It was. Now it's still in the top 40. But our booster and our alum, they've always been.
Yeah.
We're talking about FedEx, AutoZone, and International Paper, 3 Fortune 500 companies right there. And we've been trying to, what do we do with all this money? And of course, we get in trouble. The NCAA, Memphis. Oh, yeah, Memphis. It's got to be something with money. Yeah, it is. We're paying somebody because somebody's pockets. But now Fred Smith said, hey, here's $100 million or $50 million. Go fix the stadium. We're like, word. And he actually bought it for us because it was the city stadium for a while. But Memphis is in a good spot. We don't the boosters don't want to be in the Big 12. ESPN told us, stick around. We're trying to get you into the ACC. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of the old guard like me want to be. But actually where we are now, we're in a pretty good conversation. The college football playoff committee is still talking about Memphis in the college football playoffs. A whole lot would have to happen. We'd still have to win the division somehow. I don't know mathematically how that would work unless
everybody would have to lose at least one game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tulane
everybody
would have to fall out.
You'd have to have Tulane lose a game.
Yeah.
Probably lose 2 games.
Yeah.
You have to win out. You'd have to have us lose. Well, that would be our second loss. USF would have to lose, which watch out for
what
this
weekend
at
now. 7-2.
I believe 7-2.
7-2. Yeah,
we have the tiebreaker against them. We did beat them.
Yeah, so because you have the tiebreaker over them, Tulane has the tiebreaker over us. If we beat y'all this weekend, we would have it over you.
Mm-hmm.
USF has it over North Texas. North Texas has it over Navy. It's
so much.
Pardon my French. It's a clusterfuck of what's going on here.
No, it really is.
In the and
it really
so
is.
then it goes to the 3 computer rankings that they, which I believe is the SP Plus, Is it SOR? And then I think
Uh-huh.
what's the TTR 116 or whatever that Sports Kita. I don't know. Those are the rankings that they go off of.
Yeah.
And everybody is kind of in the same kind of like 15 spots. You got USF. Well, USF's like in the top 20 when you average them out. But then you look at like East, it's in UNT, ECU, and Navy for the 4 schools that still have the 1 loss. Now everybody starts losing. Like I said, I would not be surprised if USF goes into Navy this weekend and gets beat.
Navy's weirdly talented this year. I think they beat Army in that game, but Navy's one of those, and I don't think this is one of those Navy teams that looks more disciplined than other Navy teams, which is hard to do. I mean, Navy, they're usually, there's never any penalties.
Right.
They're always in gap integrity. I mean, it's Navy, but this team really looks, and I wouldn't even say it's the most talented. It just looks like the most fundamentally sound Navy team that I've seen in a while. So
I don't think Navy wins out, but I do think that they could get USF at home this weekend.
It happened.
It's going to be that is like ECU's saving grace is needing Navy to beat USF and then Navy faltering in one more because they've got don't they play Memphis?
Oh, yeah, I think Navy still has to play Memphis. Who does North Texas still has 1 loss also, right? In conference?
Yeah, I think they have the easiest
USF.
path. I think they
do they play ECU?
No.
Dang.
See, we don't play any of them. We don't play any of them. We don't play USF this year. We don't play Navy this year. And we've played Navy, I believe, every year that we've been in this damn conference.
Yeah.
And it's usually when they're coming off a bye.
North Texas, UAB, Rice, and Temple. It's the remaining schedule.
UAB, Rice, and Temple.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
They're playing a Sunbelt schedule this year. They got the Army treatment. They got the treatment Army got last year with the cupcake schedule.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, they did have to play Navy and USF, but so.
I mean, obviously, there's ECU, Memphis, Tulane. I mean, they didn't get any of those schools. That's crazy.
No. Yeah, we played Tulane. We should have won that game. It's tough, man.
Everybody should have beat Tulane this year.
When you look at Tulane's games, you're like, man, everybody could have got them.
Everybody.
I think the way these conferences are starting to schedule, trying to do their conference schedules, they're trying to make it where, and you're seeing it in the ACC right now. You're seeing it in the American. You're somewhat seeing it still in the Big 12, and there's a discussion to be had in some of the places in the Sun Belt about these programs that are going down to the wire. I mean, you look at what Conference USA with, is it Jacksonville State and is it Kennesaw that are up there?
Yes.
Where they play this weekend and they're undefeated in conference.
Yeah.
So like you're seeing that these conferences are scheduling it to where they have a good shot of getting their teams, 4 or 5 teams, late into the season to where they're in the conversation with 1 or 2 losses in conference play, if that. I think you're going to start seeing a more balanced and more parity in the conference scheduling.
I think we're already seeing some of that, Jared. You're actually right. We're seeing a lot of that. But I will make there was a caveat at the college football playoff committee presser tonight because JMU came up And JMU, hey, they're a one-loss team, and people are asking, well, what about JMU? What about JMU? They're like, well, they were discussed, but we kind of dismissed them because of strength of schedule. And I think that the committee now, this in the second presser, I came from there like they're going to pick the winner of the American, which they should. I mean, whoever comes out of this
Right. The deeper,
ridiculous, this conference. I mean, I've always been one of the, and since the beginning of the American, when Louisville was in it, I always pointed out, like, look, this conference isn't that far off from the ACC or the Big 12 then, or the Pac-12 really then. The only conferences that were totally, outmatching the American was the Big 10 and the SEC, and that's still kind of the case now, even after the consolidation, or maybe even more so after the consolidation. I think the committee looks at the American. If there was still a Power Five, the American would be the Power Five conference. It wouldn't be the new Pac-12. It's not the Mountain West. It's definitely not Conference USA. And even though the Sun Belt has improved, it's not the Sun Belt either. They look at it at the American as that fifth conference.
I understand what the American did with the schools that they added and where they went, but I do think that there's something to be said about, instead of going after the Charlottes, the Rices, and those schools, when you could have gone after like decent names as far as branding goes. You got James Madison. I know they've kind of come onto the scene since joining the FBS and kind of taking the world by storm. Everybody knows App State. Like, I'm not saying that that's the school you go after, but you've got a Coastal Carolina school, a Marshall, like these schools that have some staying power and a name, and have had success.
Right.
I think that's where they should have gone. You could have still added the major markets, but also maybe mixed in some of these other kind of, hell, add Charlotte, but then also add James Madison.
Kind
of balance it out.
I would go for that, and probably the next iteration when there's this, everybody thinks there's still going to be conference realignment from here on out. Maybe there will be, maybe they won't. But if there is, I think they do start going after brands this next time. But from the beginning, obviously, they were looking for cities, and of course, the American. What is it like? 13 years old now. 12, 13 years ago, or 15 years ago, when you're putting all this together, you were looking for cities. I mean, it was, hey, you got Philly, we got Orlando, we got Tampa, we got Memphis, we got Houston. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got Cincinnati. There were a lot of these city schools, basically, where sometimes you're not even the biggest thing going on in your city. You're definitely not Houston, probably not in Cincinnati, not in Philly, Orlando, more of a shot there, but you still got the Magic. Tampa, more of a shot here, but you still got, hockey here. I mean, there's and baseball kind of, but the long and the short of it was they're probably not the dominant team in the market, with the exception for a while. That really went away when the Grizzlies started. Paul Gasol got to Memphis, but Memphis, the University of Memphis, was pretty dominant until the Grizzlies got there. And when the Grizzlies got there, they really needed some time before people took them serious. And it wasn't until Paul Gasol showed up where they were even taking that squad serious. Then he showed up, and then they traded him to LA. So we're like, forget that squad. But anyway, that's how the American was set up originally. It was just all city squads. They used to be able to pull, from those markets, have the games on Thursdays and Fridays, and be able to pull, from those major markets or whatnot. And that's how we got the deal, the $1 billion TV deal that we have now, is, doing that over and over again and making those games, those ECU Memphis games, USF, UCF games or whatever interesting.
Yeah.
And I think that branding wise, it worked for a long time. Obviously, if you need to replace somebody, bring in Army. So, there's the Army Navy game. That's another big, branded game that everybody watches every year. I know I do. But I guess the new brand, like the App States and the JMUs or whatnot, they're new squads, even Liberty, new squads that have put a whole lot of money into their programs, and they're becoming brands. And I think the next iteration of the American adds teams like that to the American to kind of plug the gaps. Should any of us leave?
I've long thought. Right now, the ACC has a stranglehold on the state of North Carolina.
Yes.
There's not an SEC team here yet. I'll say yet. I think
Nope.
there could be.
There could be. Yep.
There's not a Big 12 team here.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that that's kind of ECU's probably best option. We
Big
know
12?
that.
Yeah.
We,
I think if we were going to move,
you're going to have to see some sustained success in football, which, granted, the conference is starting to set us up. It seems like we've played the gauntlet schedules every year, and now it seems like we're kind of on that slide of schedules where, okay, you can rattle off some 9-10 win seasons and make a name for yourself and have a shot at the conference championship. We're seeing it this year. And I think that you've got the right leadership at the helm, finally getting the funding. And we were talking about funding. Like, they just started building the indoor practice facility. We haven't had one. Like, y'all are talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about, FedEx buying the stadium. No. Vince McMahon, Mr. Beast, somebody hook us up. Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Golden Corral. Come on now.
Absolutely.
Truist. No. It's one of those things where finally, like, some of that money is coming in, and they're on the right path. They're on the path that it seems like the Tulanes, the Memphis, the UCFs, all these schools have passed us by. And now that ECU's finally like doing all the right things. If we could ever figure it out in basketball, like, we may be okay.
No, Jared, you actually, because ECU used to be dominant. I mean, it used to be a dominant football school, and I used to be like, oh man, who they got over there. But I will say, it does look like over the last 5-10 years, other schools have just outspent, ECU in terms of what they're doing with the facilities. Not that, there's still talent around there, and it probably is not that hard to recruit there, not as hard as people think it is. But
you're able to get a bunch of guys. Yeah, you're able to. It's still hard to recruit with the Saudi Arabian money at Carolina and that whole story, or the name of NC State. It's a little bit easier to recruit against an App State or Charlotte or Duke or Wake.
And facilities only help, right?
And now that, like, the NIL and all that is it's never. I don't think it's ever going to be as big as what Memphis has or even a USF has. I think it could be on par with. Look, it could be on par with Tulane, which I don't think it's saying a ton, just given that their alumni base. A private school isn't as big, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things that ECU has started putting money in the right places instead of putting it behind now granted, the press, we're very happy with the press box. Instead of just putting all that money into the press box, now they've renovated a lot of the stadium, added the club levels and suite levels and all that. It's a beautiful stadium. Now they're
Yeah.
focusing on what makes the team better. An indoor practice facility. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Greenville, North Carolina in August.
Oh, yeah.
It is
But I
terrible.
haven't since COVID. I haven't been out that way since before COVID. I really pulled myself off the road during COVID and after COVID. I'm not on the road anymore. We send the younger journalists out to do most of the beats and analytics stuff. I'm relegated to being behind a desk now, but yeah, hey, the Greenville, I like Greenville actually. I like that area of North Carolina.
That summer heat with that humidity, with those
Yeah.
thunderstorms.
Yeah.
Well, it feels Memphis-ish, honestly. You know, it feels because you all are not too far from water, and we're not too far from water, and you know that sticky, super hot. You know, I want to sweat, but I can't. Type, yeah.
You walk into a sauna,
exactly. You come, bam. You get off the plane, bam. Oh man, good. Look at this. It feels Memphis-ish, honestly.
But then you're dealing with that, and you can't cancel practice, or if you are canceling, you're canceling a practice, and guess what? You have nowhere to go.
Right.
You have nowhere to go. You got a lightning strike. Guess what? You're off the field. You just lost all those hours that you had for training this week.
Yeah,
they're gone. And so now having that, it's nice. I mean, we've had great facilities. It's just we haven't had that indoor facility, and having that, the boosters are really kind of investing. The NIL is investing. ECU's been pretty good with the revenue sharing and being upfront about what they're going to do with it, and I think that's helping going forward. And I think that the schools that are going to win in the American Conference are going to be the ones that are willing to invest.
Yes.
And I don't think that the schools like a Temple, a Tulsa,
Temple has the money. I just don't know what they're doing with the money. They don't want to invest in the sports at all. They just don't.
See, USF does it right. I saw USF. I think they have a $750 million research investment this year, but they're also investing their money into athletics.
Yes.
I mean, USF would honestly probably be a great school in the Big Ten. Like just with that AAU accreditation, and the money that they have, now I'm not saying that they're going to compete. They could probably do better than Purdue.
Yeah, I mean, until what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they were beating the brakes off Indiana, right? So it really just takes, and Indiana's a really good school to show you exactly, if you decide that you're not going to F around anymore, right?
Right.
You can actually get a coach and, scrap the money together and hey, let's go out here and compete. Let's go out, let's get a coach that knows what he's doing, and go out here and compete. And Indiana is the testament to, you can compete in the Big Ten. You can compete in the SEC. Look at Vanderbilt. Get a coach that's not going to F around. Yep. I mean, and unless you just, you want to be the doormat of the conference or whatnot, and you're good with just, pulling in money and being happy with that. But you get a good coach, even what's going on with Shiano and whatnot. I mean, all you have to do is have a competent coach or a good coach that honestly understands the game, wants to see it, see this modernized game, is on top of that, and is using the transfer portal, because that's Dabo's issue, and is doing everything that they can to leverage the NIL situations now. Man, get somebody in there that wants to win and that understands, team building, that understands the schematics necessary, that understands putting the right guys around them coaching wise, the right coordinators, the right position coaches or whatnot, that can give these guys a legitimate shot to compete. And anybody can be in Indiana if you take your program serious. Memphis was getting blown out by 50 to Louisville in football until I decided that's enough. I don't want to watch this anymore. Why am I why am I supporting this program? Let's get together. It's not like the money's not here, guys. St. Jude's Classic's down the street. Like the money is here. Why are the royal family coming over and vacationing here if the money's not here? With the money's here. Let's get together, get organized, and actually start doing something with this program so we can compete. And now Memphis is finally in the conversation. Like the first time I'm like, oh, we're looking at the college football playoff. Hey, look, there's Memphis. And and immediately we crash after that, after 2 weeks ago. Immediately. But I at least got to see us on the board for
every year. Every year when that first college football playoff poll comes out, it reminds me that ECU was on the very first college football playoff top 25.
Yes.
My heart.
Right
there was an old graphic from like back when the Power 5 notion and moniker was first being thrown around.
Yeah.
Which schools should be the next schools to be up in Power 5? It was BYU, Boise State, and East Carolina University.
That's right.
And I'm like, where have we gone?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I remember. I remember talking to boosters like, we've got to at least get on the level of ECU. Now, this was 12, 15 years ago, but seriously, Jared, already we were trying to just get to y'all's level for a while. We were like, man, look. And what's his name was the running back over at for the Titans at the time. I forgot his name.
Chris Johnson.
Yeah, Chris Johnson. And we were like, man, look what talent's coming out of ECU. Can't we get a running back? Why are all our, and we knew why all our running backs never stayed in Memphis. Arkansas, Auburn, Tennessee. They would just come and say, "Oh yeah, we're like right in the middle of that triangle." Like, oh, let's go shopping over here. Every now and then, Mississippi and Mississippi State will come up and out recruit us, even though we usually hold our own against those two. Auburn comes calling. Who's competing with them? Tennessee, same thing, and Arkansas used to be a much better SEC program than they are now. I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah, it's funny, like all of our best recruits have always come out of either Texas or Florida. I mean, Chris Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, you've had some guys that have come in from that are local kids, but for the most part, that's where we were good at recruiting those states.
Yeah.
But then the last two head coaches kind of got away from that. That was always my knock on Coach Ruffin McNeil.
Blake good at
recruiting. I think his staff is really good at recruiting, and I think his personality and his demeanor, true family man that like. And I've had conversations with Coach Harrell on a personal level, and him talking about, I'm happy to be here. My kids love it here. Like just not even coach speak, just like my kids don't want to move. They love their school. Like that's what's most important to me. Like if I'm here forever, that's great. If I'm not, like we'll make it happen. But we want to be here because my kids love it here.
I like.
And he kind of has that like fiery, but also when you're just talking to him, he just makes you feel good.
Cool demeanor. He's a great rally the troops, motivating kind of guy.
I mean, last year when he took over, it was, I mean, you were looking square in the face of missing another bowl game. And
I made a bowl game though last year, right?
Yeah,
we played NC State.
Yeah, and won it. And I mean,
yeah,
you're looking at it. We were what 3-5, 3-4.
Yeah.
And with a loss to Charlotte and Army, like back-to-back weeks, and then they fired him right after losing to Army, and then they went off and ended up winning the next like 6 out of their next 7 games. the only loss the rest of the way was to Navy. And so it's like, okay, well, that was like, okay. Then they took the interim tag off of him. What are you going to do? Everybody was like, oh, well, he played North Texas. Like who was he playing? Look at this year that went over North Texas last year. Like people forget they started off 5-0 last year.
Exactly.
And then it all kind of went downhill after they lost to us. And it was like, okay, what's going on? And I think he's like 11-4 now since taking over head coach at ECU with a win over Mike Houston. People, if they don't follow the program, forget he never beat a North Carolina team, any team from North Carolina, except for when he was at James Madison and beat East Carolina.
I actually said that on my show once.
Like that is the only he never had that signature win.
Yeah, that's right.
Blake Harrell has a couple now.
Right.
Yeah.
And you look at it, should have beat NC State week 1, should have beat Tulane. Both those are 1-score games. And that BYU game was a lot closer than the scoreboards look. I mean,
honestly, all of those are, I don't know, respectable losses. It's not like it's, UAB or anything like that. We're talking about, BYU. They're still in definitely ranked, but in the conversation of the college football playoff.
When I look at next year's schedule, you start off now. You got to go on the road to Bryant-Denny Stadium week 1 and play at Alabama.
Yeah,
but after that, I mean, you got a pretty favorable schedule.
That's not Nick Saban's Alabama, though, Jared. I mean,
that's the same thing I said.
If FSU caught him early, it could happen. Vanderbilt caught him last year. It could happen.
The board's getting that program turned around. I think he's a good coach, but it could definitely happen.
Yeah,
but no, it's we were known as being the giant killers.
Yeah,
and like we talked about earlier in the show, like nobody will schedule us, and I'm sure Memphis is dealing with that. And I mean, then again, y'all play Ole Miss, and y'all are getting these games. Carolina, NC State, they don't want to schedule us. Wake Forest ducking us. Duke won't schedule us. Virginia Tech, there's some animosity there. Neither of us will schedule each other. Like it's those are West Virginia bought out our game, and then ended up scheduling who was it? Virginia that they ended up scheduling, Josh? Or they tried to schedule Alabama. Alabama then dropped their game and scheduled us. So, like, it was just a love trying. It's just, man, college football, just make it easy.
Honestly, I feel you because Tennessee won't play us in football anymore. We only have one win over the Vols. It just so happened to be one of the best years that they've ever had and prevented Peyton Manning from winning a Heisman or them playing for a national championship that year. That Memphis loss just threw them completely out of whack that year. And that was Peyton Manning's junior year, I believe. I think that was the last year that he played at Tennessee. And that's still after that contract, which I think ran another 3-4 games, ran out. They were like, nope, we're not playing y'all anymore because we can't afford to lose both a championship and a Heisman run for Memphis. We're not doing that. But Arkansas still schedule us. Ole Miss still schedules us. Mississippi State, for some reason, still schedules us. And we've had success. As a matter of fact, I think we've beat the last 4 or 5 SEC opponents that have scheduled us. So it's not uncommon. I mean, we're regularly beating SEC teams. Now, you could say, well, that's not like LSU or Georgia that's scheduling you. And I don't know if those squads want to schedule us either. Like I said, there's still those teams that Silverfield's putting on the field are fast. And you'll see it. this weekend. They're fast. Now, how talented and disciplined they are. I mean, I would say they're talented too, but discipline, gap integrity, just the stuff that you expect not to have when you piece together 70 people. That's what we don't have. And you'll see flashes of it coming together. But if we're down 17 or 14 and our back's against the wall, and that's when you start seeing the flashes, sometimes it's just too late.
And back to this game, I know we kind of gotten off and talking. That's why we love having you on.
We do that.
That's why we love having you. Like, we've been talking about ECU and Memphis, but not talking about this game.
Right.
But talking about this game, like, what is the one thing that if you were like, I am most confident that Memphis, no matter what, will be able to do this? What's that one thing that you're most confident in Memphis having the ability to do really on any given Saturday?
Memphis will have 100 yards rushing. The question is going to be more so, we'll be able to have 200 yards rushing. Because we have,
Need I remind you, ECU is a top 15 rush defense in the country.
I was
understand
if that. Rushing 200 yards, you guys better win by 30.
Well, no, because we're going to give the ball to you a couple of times, most likely. But Memphis is if Lewis was 100% healthy, then there would be we try and take a crack at that 200 yards. But we'll have 100. I don't think unless there is a situation where we get down 14 or 17 or something like that in the first 10, 15 minutes of the game, and we're just relegated to throwing the ball, and that would be the worst situation for Memphis to be in, because what I've watched Silverfield want to do is play off of play action. He wants to have, he wants everybody, what's Sutton Smith going to do? Because when the ball gets into that guy's hands in space, watch out. But I think that Lewis having these injuries where he can't really plant really well, it just takes that. It takes an element out of the game that we were using so much at the beginning of the year that I still think we have 100 yards rushing, but in order to win this game, we'll probably need 150, closer to 2, which means we would need to beat ECU at what ECU does the best. We have players that could do it. They're a little beat up. But our offensive line is legit. And I think we showed that against we showed that against USF. They were pushing around, Florida. They weren't necessarily pushing us around. They still won. Same thing with Arkansas. I think they expected, hey, we're a big SEC team, we're the Hogs. But, we barbecue hog in Memphis, it's some ribs.
Same.
So you know what I'm saying? So that's what we didn't talk about is
some good old barbecue.
Barbecue.
See, I'm a Lexington kid, and I may be an ECU fan, but I'm a Lexington barbecue kind of guy.
Oh yeah, beautiful barbecue in all of those places. But that being said, I think that we'll have 100 yards rushing. And if I'm confident about anything, it's about our offensive line and having Smith back there being able to break a couple. He'll probably at least have 50, 60 yards by himself minimum. But if he gets on his horse and he has 100 yards rushing himself, and everybody else is adding in the rest, that's going to be a close game, fellas. It will.
And I mean, just you talk about the offensive line, knowing that Lewis, has had the injuries this year.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's been sacked quite a bit.
Yes.
So what's going on
the
there?
Injury since the UAB injury, he doesn't move. He's a statue in there, and they're trying to find a playbook that works with his immobility, because they were running, everything that they were doing was off of almost play action all the time. It was run first, pass second, and catch people out of position for quite a bit of the season until that injury. And then there's not really you really start seeing, hey, these guys none of them played at all together last year. There's nobody that was playing. And you start seeing, the foundation kind of crack when the starting QB is injured. And I've seen that a couple times now in these last few games. It hasn't been, that's how you lose to UAB. They have in the Battle of the Bones, lost that trophy. That's probably immobility. Is probably what's going to get what's going to lose the game against ECU. Just getting sacked 3 or 4 times, not being able to move out of that pocket. If Lewis moves the pocket, the receivers get open. Hands down. And it's been like that the entire season. But his inability to get out of that pocket and really move, it's so limiting. And the sacks these last few games, these last 4 or 5 games, they've just been it's been hard to watch.
Well, we're looking forward to it this Saturday.
Be a good one, man. It's gonna be a good one.
I'm excited. Look, the last 2 games these 2 programs have played have been instant classics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Overtime winners. Just back and
this
forth.
one's a good one too. Honestly.
I hope so.
I think it will be. Yeah.
I hope it's close until about the 4th quarter, and then I don't want to be clinched up sitting in Dowdy Ficklin late Saturday afternoon, evening. I don't. But who knows? I'll say this isn't the game that we've talked about. This isn't the game that gives us the most anxiety that's still left on our schedule. That's UTSA in the Alamo Dome.
Oh, that squad. Yeah. And I know, I get it. They are the spoiler in our conference now. That's what they do.
With UTSA.
But beating UTSA, man, it's got that's the Road Runners. Oh my God. I remember they're one of the, I think they were one of the last, I think they were the last school that beat Memphis at Memphis. Before Tulane, I think we had like a 10, 11 game winning streak. And they were the last ones that actually came into Memphis and won a couple of years ago. And I was like, there went the season. We lost to UTSA. And that's kind of what it is. This year was pretty much, UAB. What? Honestly, in that game, I thought we lost the season because I didn't think Lewis was going to play the rest of the year. But and he's still ginger. So this is a game that I really wish, if Lewis was 100% healthy, I'd have a lot more confidence that we were going to win this game. Right now, I'd say I got about a 42% confidence that we'll win this game. I think it skews ECU. I think it's more of this is going to look like a 37-28 game, probably ECU's favor.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be close for a majority of the game, but that's the one thing we've seen. ECU hasn't gone down to where and then given up at any point in the season. They've had some slow starts. The games that they've started slow in, they've lost. It sounds very similar to what has happened to Memphis.
Yeah.
So if you can start fast and get out to an early lead, a 14-point lead early on,
then you
get
beat
into a
Memphis.
rhythm.
You beat this Memphis team with a 14-point lead early. Seriously. Yeah.
Something to look for. Well, before I let you go, I wanted to ask one last question.
Shoot.
You're on. Yeah, I mean, you're voting.
My wife's
in
probably
all these
already in
awards.
bed. You know, she doesn't.
What's that?
My wife's probably already in bed now, so you know.
Mine is too. She knows on podcast nights. Don't even
Yeah.
bother. But looking at it, like you went to the college football playoff press conference earlier. Listened into that. Now that we're in our second week of that poll, how are you feeling? Give me your just kind of quick synopsis of what you're thinking is going to happen.
The team that interestingly has like a pole position, but is a dark horse that nobody's talking about is Vanderbilt. They're right on the outside looking in, but they have games that I think they may even be favored in. Winning out. Maybe I don't think they'll be favored. I don't know if they're going to be favored against Tennessee, but I think they can beat Tennessee.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, it really will. And Tennessee has just enough clout. Who did Kentucky beat last week?
Florida.
Was it Florida?
Was that Florida?
They took somebody to the woodshed, and I forgot who it was.
It was
Florida. Oh goodness!
Our resident Florida fan Josh is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Florida got spanked, and I was like, Kentucky spanked them like that. But I think Vanderbilt honestly can win their last 3 games, and if they do that, there's still a whole lot of big games that have to be played in the SEC. But they have they may have an inside track to actually get into the playoff, and that's this is the first time that I could even imagine Vanderbilt having a shot at the playoffs. What if they're the team that actually gets into the playoffs from Tennessee? Memphis and the Vols are all, we're going to do it. Vanderbilt, they're so it's an interesting year. I think that here's something that this college football playoff committee, and I've been in the pressers of all of them since the beginning of the CFB playoffs. This committee gives more credence to individual players any other committee that I've ever seen. For some reason, when they're talking about the actual teams, they will mention the players. They're like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. They have one of the best backfields in the country, this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, because that never used to be a criteria that they were judging against. They still have their metrics with strength of schedule, but player evaluation is something that this committee is doing much more than any other committee. And I don't know if that's because of the 3 coaches that are sitting on that committee, or former coaches, I should say. But whatever it is, this is they'll call names out, and they won't make any excuse. If your quarterback's hurt, like one of the reasons why I think Memphis may not have a shot is if Lewis can't get healthy. Because they'll treat Memphis like FSU in a heartbeat. Doesn't matter how many games you won. Oh, you won your conference? Great. Whatever. We're going to still take USF. Your quarterback's hurt. Or they might say, it'll probably be USF. Because I think the only way that Memphis can actually get into the playoff is if everybody loses. We'd have to start winning this game. North Texas would have to lose at some point. And then it'll be USF and Memphis to play with 2 losses apiece in the championship game, and we'd have to win that. They still might, I don't know, they still may say Lewis is hurt and decide not to put us in for whatever reason. But this committee
I don't see any world
loves players.
I don't see any world where a 2-loss American Conference team doesn't get in over another G5. I mean, I just I don't see it.
No, probably not. Unless
James Madison's played one team that has a winning record right now, and that's Old Dominion.
Yeah. They have a really bad strength of schedule. And the committee actually pointed out, like, oh, they were in the conversation. Then we looked at the strength of schedule, and that's how we.
And at some point, I feel like my biggest gripe with strength of schedule and strength of record, I fully understand how it factors in and agree that there is some merit to it.
Oh.
But a lot of the strength of schedule, strength of record is set by your initial AP poll rankings.
Yes, they are.
And so, like, I mean, you look at the ACC. The ACC is a perfect example of this year. UVA hasn't beaten really a single soul all year.
Louisville.
They beat Louisville, which Louisville that win over Louisville. This doesn't look that great now. They just lost the count.
If you're looking at them, they originally got propped up because they beat FSU,
and then look at where your FSU is.
Yeah,
and then you look at Alabama lost to FSU,
which is why ECU has a shot next year, guys.
And I'm like, I'm like, okay, well, if we're basing it and saying, oh, you have a top 25 win, okay, that win came against number 19, I don't know, Georgia Tech at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at the Iowa State, Kansas State game to start the year in Dublin. Like, neither of those teams have really done anything. You know, like we thought those two teams were going to be at least decent players in the Big 12. 3 of the top 5 teams in the Big 12 this year are 3 years removed from being in the American Athletic Conference.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Like, what?
The American went over there and just started. Well, but it gives credence to what I've been saying all this time, because, you know, when I'm doing an analysis, I take the names off of jerseys and the conferences don't matter, which is, it's hard for people to be that objective when they're actually looking at this stuff. And I still vote on the FWAA NFF Super 16. So I'm tasked with doing that every week in and week out. But the conference, but for the whole Power 5, non-Power 5, the conferences, I mean, the Big 12 and the American, it's the same. Like, there were many of years where I was like, well, wait a minute. How can we go out at the beginning of the year, beat all the Pac-12 and Big 12 teams, but we're not the power conference? How does that work? You know, how does it work that, you know, Memphis flies out to UCLA and smacks them around, but when we beat them, it's not a quality win. Right. But when USC beats them, oh, well, you know, the 5 words and quality win. Well, wait a minute. We just beat that team. Well, why is it not a quality win for us? Same thing with Houston. I remember with Houston, they were just smacking folks around, and I was like, and then they get in conference with the American, all of a sudden, but as you see, just like last year, SMU quite literally paid their way into the ACC, was out there playing for a championship. You know, it's weird, but it's true. Like, the talent that we have still in conference is still just as good as these other conferences. The problem was always branding. Didn't have anything to do with whether or not we could compete. It was just pure branding. That's it.
Yeah, because this is what I don't understand, and why I have trouble with the college football playoff and strength of schedule, strength of record. When you talk about quality wins or quality losses or whatever, you look at a team and you're like, oh, there's 4 teams from the SEC that can get in. That's bullshit, because like you're talking, those teams are good teams, but you've got a team that has 3 losses in their own conference. That I'm like, okay, how are they getting in? right? Like, how are they getting in? When you start, but then when the American Conference starts cannibalizing itself, oh well, now we're looking at James Madison to get in over a USF or over a North Texas or over a Navy because this team's going to have 2 or 3 losses now. Now Navy maybe take them out of the equation because their strength of schedule and strength of record is about on par with James Madison.
Yeah,
but like, come on now.
Well, they're just meeting the last 4 games for Navy. I don't know if you've looked at their schedule. I was like, good luck.
They got a gauntlet.
Yeah, good luck.
Navy's season is going to go from being on top of the world to back down to reality pretty quickly, I believe.
Yeah, they're not going to. Honestly, I made the point on another show that, like, hey, if Navy wins these last 4 games, talk about them in the college football playoff. Because if you can do that, you could definitely beat one of these teams in the playoff. Now, I don't know if you're going to beat Georgia, which it looks like the 12 seed is going to. Right now, they're up against Georgia. But hey, one of these teams mess around and slip up. If it's Texas Tech, throw us in there. Texas Tech has really good defense. I really like Rodriguez and everything else, what they're doing out there. But I still think we can compete with anybody. I think one of the worst matchups that Memphis could get would probably be Georgia. But maybe USF actually has a better shot of beating Georgia than we do.
I like that. Would I honestly at this point give me the Myrtle Beach Bowl, East Carolina, James Madison in Conway.
Oh yeah.
And let us bend them over a barrel and say, okay, this is you're not in the Sun Belt anymore. Like,
yeah.
I mean, and maybe we'll go out and drop a goose egg on them and beat them 38-0, like we beat their the number 3 team in their conference on their home field in Conway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be good. But JMU, that's what the committee has said when asked. They didn't say it. They said it in the presser, the media presser. I don't think they said it out on ESPN or anything like that. But yeah, the strength of schedule, and that's one of the things that they started looking at. I think there are 4 teams: JMU, Memphis, USF, and Tulane. That they were discussing this week with JMU, and they kind of just eliminated them. JMU is going to need all of those aforementioned teams to probably lose at least once more to jump in front of any of those.
I'm not convinced they don't lose against Washington State in a couple weeks.
They might. And Washington State is good.
It's awful. It's just not been good.
But you look at Washington State. They took UVA to the brink. They took Ole Miss to the brink. But then they got absolutely worked by North Texas.
Yes,
like it's like
washed.
Make it make sense. Make any of it make sense.
North Texas. I mean, that's still and that's why I'm just like, how is? I know nobody's talking about North Texas right now, but North Texas might. Their schedule and everything else, they might actually walk into this American Athletic Conference championship and win it.
They have no excuse not to win their schedule.
They really don't, Hart. They really don't. This may be with the college football playoff, dark horses, I would say, are Vanderbilt and North Texas based on what they have left for in front of them and what I think that they could accomplish. With their back up against the wall. I think those are the 2 teams that are the really dark horses. But I really expect Indiana and Ohio State to be playing a championship. I think those 2 teams are the best teams in the nation right now. But I saw Indiana walk into Oregon and win that game. And the way they won it, I was like, oh, they're legit. Legit. I was wondering at the beginning of the year because people were asking me. I was like, "They are legit," but I need to see what they do against Oregon. Because if you walk in, to Eugene, and do that to that athletic squad, because that squad can really hang with almost anybody. You walk into Eugene and win that game, okay, you're legit. And I expect Ohio State and Indiana to be playing for a championship, which also mean the third year the SEC isn't going to win a championship, and that becomes the story of 2026.
I'd like that storyline.
Yeah, like, we thought y'all were the conference,
My favorite storyline going right now, though, is what happens if somehow, some way, the Duke Blue Devils win the ACC championship.
Yeah, they still have a chance too.
Exactly. They still have. That's possible. And I mean, it's the highest. It's the highest ranked. What is it?
Five highest ranked conference champions. Duke with 4 losses.
That's wild, but they may be able to get in.
But do they get in?
I mean,
they got UVA this weekend.
Well, is there a situation? Is there a situation where a 4-loss Duke doesn't get in over a 1-loss JMU?
That's my point. Is it a place where
I don't think the committee keeps them out? If they run the gauntlet and win the conference, I don't think the committee keeps them out.
I don't think they can.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
know.
the firestorm that would create too. I don't think they want that backlash.
Well, not after what the 13-0 FSU thing a couple years back. The ACC would just throw a fit. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, oh no, you can't do this two years in a row. They might.
How crazy would that be? The ACC
really
to get shut out.
Oh, it'd be nuts.
Because at that point, you've probably got USF in. You probably got James Madison in.
If that were to happen, I could see Clemson, UNC, Florida State revisiting. Let's get out of here. And that's how Memphis ends up in the ACC. If that were to happen, if for some reason JMU, a 1-loss JMU, ends up in the college football playoff ranked higher than a 4-loss Duke, even though Duke has Miami, Florida State, and North Carolina left, and the championship. Now you could beat Chapel Hill.
Don't forget they have a loss against Tulane.
They do have a loss against Tulane. That's crazy. They have a loss against Tulane. They're not gonna. They got Virginia, North Carolina, and Wake Forest left. That's what they got left.
And I think they could beat Virginia. I think that game's at home. I think that they could win out, and really they don't really have to beat a team that's realistically they're not beating a top 25 team to do it.
No, they're not. And they went into the fake Death Valley at Clemson and won. So,
but that's not saying anything this year. Mike Houston's there, coaching there. So he took his biceps there.
They beat Cal, whatever that means. I don't know. I have no idea if Duke. I guess Virginia would be their quality win in that scenario. They didn't lose. They lost against Georgia Tech. They lost against Tulane. They lost against Illinois.
Is a win over? Okay, yeah. I don't think you can rank them over a 2-loss USF.
What if USF doesn't win the championship, though? Let's say
I don't see a world where I think USF is the clear front runner in the American.
Yeah, they should
be. You could. It doesn't have to be that the P4 team is ranked higher than the G5 team, right? You could have a season where USF
Yeah.
they finished. I mean, we saw it last year. Like
Yeah.
Boise State ranked higher than a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It's
The ultimate chaos is what happens when you've got somehow East Carolina makes it into the conference championship. Duke wins the conference championship. And James Madison doesn't win a conference championship.
Oh, James Madison's completely out there. Because I mean, we're not talking to James Madison's not really in the conversation now. But they're definitely not in the conversation unless they win that championship.
But like, do you somehow get an ECU in the college football playoff?
I mean, it's possible. You win the American.
And James Madison doesn't win?
Yeah.
San Diego State's done.
Yeah, San Diego State. Well, actually, unless a team, San Diego State, except that was in passing. I think they forgot that they talked about San Diego State, but somebody brought it up. You didn't have a conversation. Oh yeah, we did talk about San Diego State. So I think right now San Diego State isn't even really in the conversation with the other four,
unless
we were talking about.
And there's no way the Conference USA champion gets in, right?
No.
So
I mean, no, I don't think any of them. Don't they all have 3 losses? I think they all have 3 losses. I don't think there's, unless Liberty pulls up. No, I think.
Well, I'm thinking Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State, but Kennesaw State can't play in a bowl game yet, can they?
How long have they been? They've moved.
Is this their second year? Third?
You're going to 2 years FBS, right?
I think you have to be in 2 years, and I think this might be their 3rd year. COVID stole a whole lot of time for me, but I think this might be their 3rd year.
But I mean,
yeah, this might be.
What the scenarios? Duke is the ultimate chaos creator.
Mm-hmm. If Duke wins the ACC, then everything is just. That would mean a whole lot of other things happen.
If Duke wins the ACC and ECU wins the American, somehow need a lot to happen.
I mean, the beauty of what we're doing now and what we're watching is pure chaos, and we love it because it gives us and we know year in and year out that the first teams that go up on that board in the first college football playoff committee aren't going to be the last teams that are on that board. It's never happened before.
Yep.
Obviously, Memphis already, hey, look at us, and then crash and burn. But there are going to be a lot of other teams that do that also. Georgia looks a little shaky. I mean, they still have a defense that's worth something, but they don't even look like the same team they were last year. Alabama, we saw what happened with FSU pushing them around at the beginning of the year. Maybe that's a one-off game, maybe. But some of the other games, when I watched them play Vanderbilt, I was like, man, they're not really that dominant. Or is Vanderbilt really just this good?
My thing all year has been everybody sucks. Everybody sucks. I can poke a hole.
Everybody's good. It's one or the other.
I can poke a hole in everybody's resume at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of maybe Indiana, Ohio State, and Texas A&M, I can poke a hole in everybody's resume.
You could make arguments with those guys also. I just don't know if we have time for that on this show.
I mean, I think you can make an argument against every school. I don't think that there's a clear outside of maybe Ohio State.
I think Ohio State's
I don't think there's a clear number one.
It's hard to poke flaws in Ohio State right now.
Other than they just have no identity. Like I feel like there's no like true like nothing gets me worked up to like watch them.
Because defensively they're
just
that's true.
Yeah. I mean they play a good brand of football, but it's just like I don't care to watch it.
Yeah. Well, that first game against the Longhorns, because the Longhorns aren't that good. And that first game against the Longhorns, I was like, when am I 7? Every game since then, okay. But I guess I want to see, I guess I need to see them against Michigan because they haven't really. That's another team that we're really giving the benefit of the doubt right now because I mean, Penn State isn't the Penn State that we thought they were.
Yeah.
Who else did they play? Washington, I guess. Which that turned out to be a good win. That may be their, other than Texas, that may be their best win. But Ohio State, even though I think they're the best team in the country right now, that margin's a lot smaller than it even was last year.
Can I also just say Texas at 10 is absurd.
Well, look, Texas controls their own. So we're going to find out if Texas deserves to be.
Well, all right. Texas already has a loss to Florida. Okay, they have a loss to Florida. They had to.
They went to overtime.
Overtime with Kentucky.
State. Right.
Overtime with Kentucky. Overtime with Mississippi State. And lost a very close one to Vanderbilt.
But they're Vanderbilt's a good team this weekend, and they've still got A&M. So if they win out, you can't say they don't deserve to be there.
They ain't
if they beat A&M.
They I don't think they.
No, I don't think they went out either. But I mean, their schedule aligns with they could.
Remember, A&M went into Notre Dame and walked out with a dub.
Yeah, early season dub, best win of the season so far.
I love how I said this was my last question, and now we've been talking about 20 minutes.
That's what happens when you bring Memphis Spence on the squad on the show.
I love it.
You know that.
But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting to see how the next 4 weeks shake out.
Both in our conference and outside of it, it's pure chaos. And like I said, I when I started looking at this game, it was 37-28 ECU because of the injury. I don't think we can. It's going to be hard to sustain drives with Lewis still kind of injured. But that's why I say, okay, when you ask Jared, what's the thing that could tip this game? And it's the power of our rushing game. And it's Sutton Smith if he has 100 yards rushing, ooh, it's going to be close. Don't let it come down to our kicker. He's pretty good too.
ECU is allowing right now, averaging 106 yards rushing per game.
Yep.
So, and like I said, that's about 13th in the country.
Yeah.
In rushing. So
solid, maybe top 10, honestly.
I had it pulled up here. It's pretty close. It's rushing. They have the number 18 rushing defense in the country.
That's the game.
Averaging 3.17 yards per rush. And then the stat that I kept throwing out last week, I don't know if it's still the same. They were last week. They were third in the country for tackles for loss in terms of yardage. And right behind Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah, that's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a really good game. If I still that's the game really, it's really the offensive line and our running backs versus your D line and linebackers. I mean, that's kind of what the game's going to come down to. If Memphis has a shot, if we can control the clock and put up, 150, 200 yards rushing. If Sutton Smith's hard to tackle. You'll see. He's hard to tackle. He's not. He's very shifty. He's not a average running back there. So watch out for that guy. But if you key in on him and make sure that he's not going anywhere, Lewis really can't do anything. And on the flip side, if Montgomery breaks out and y'all control the game, on the ground, which that's probably a lot more likely that, ECU is the one with 200 yards rushing. But if you see Memphis, if we start if we're up around 150 yards and we're still somewhere, in the beginning of the fourth, watch out. Because Sutton Smith, for whatever reason, he's conditioned in a way that he gets harder to tackle in the fourth quarter because people are just tired. People are tired of chasing them to people are tired of tackling them. So, and I know in the second halves of this season, he's been electric. So just that's the game, though, basically. If Memphis can break out rushing, and I think we're going to have 100 yards. I don't think that there's I know you guys average just giving up 100 yards rushing. I don't think there's any way that we don't have 100 yards rushing. Honestly, don't.
Right now, Memphis, looking at it, is the number 30 rush offense in the country. East Carolina, 34. It's gonna be a close one, boys and girls.
Right behind us.
It's gonna be. I mean, both in the top 10 or top 15 for tackles for loss as well. So it's gonna be a fun game. Get out to Dowdy. Pack that place out.
If I could fly out there, I would. I can't this weekend, but if I could fly out there, I would. Just for the barbecue.
Maybe next year when the conference championship game is Memphis ECU.
That would be good. I'll definitely be there for that.
Maybe we need to bookmark that.
There you go.
And we'll look at it next year.
Yeah,
that'll be some fun
championship game.
Memphis Spence, I appreciate you so much for giving us an hour and 50 minutes of your time.
Has it been an hour and 50 minutes? My goodness.
I mean, I think you've been 11? On for
it's an hour and a half.
We've been talking an hour and a half.
That's the fun of your show, though. Yeah. We can just come on here and just, it's just the Boneyard podcast, man. This is one of the only shows that I come on this late and be like, nah, man, I got to go on this show. I like this.
When you agreed to come back on, I sent the screenshot to Artie, and the text back I got was, "Let's fucking go." And so I was like, okay, we're good.
Love you guys, man. Yeah,
we appreciate you. We love you, and we'll do this again. Maybe we'll do this again closer to college football playoff and championship weekend.
Well, you all have more access to me this year because I sunset the College Credit Hour, the show that I would run for 15 years last year. So I'm going on a lot more shows this year. I'm available for a lot more shows. I actually sunset that because I wanted to work with our younger broadcasters and journalists. For whatever reason, since COVID, things haven't been great in terms of talent and talent development coming out of Sports Radio America. So, hey, I'm still the GM. Let me sunset that. I'm already, I'm good. Let me work with the younger folks and make sure that their careers can be as meaningful as mine has. Jump on some of these shows. Jump on the Boneyard podcast maybe more than once a year. I'm always looking forward to chopping up with you guys.
I would love that. I would. We'll start getting more of that scheduled. We'll get more of that.
We'll do it, guys. We'll do it.
Well, enjoy the rest of your night. We've still got about half of a show to finish recording, and we'll be on here till 1 a.m. boys and girls. I'm kidding. My wife might kill me.
Yeah, mine too. But Jared, Artie, it's been a pleasure, man.
Absolutely.
Likewise. Thank you so much. All right, we'll talk to you next time.
Peace.
Artie. God, I love that man.
Yeah. Hey, look, we probably should have put a disclaimer for everybody. Like this was going to be a longer episode. We get Memphis,
but I'm also watching the live viewer numbers go up and up, Artie.
Yeah.
Like as we've recorded, as we've gone longer, that number has steadily increased.
Great conversation. Great conversation.
Now that Memphis Spence is off, those numbers are probably going to go plummeting right now.
Yeah. We definitely drove the numbers.
We always say, like, we talk about our favorite guests. Him and rest in peace, Pete Medhurst.
Oh, yes. Yes.
My 2 all-time favorite guests.
Yeah. Just generous with their time, and they didn't come on, ever come on here and do the mundane or just kind of run the numbers. Like they're actually speaking, they're having conversation with us, they're engaging, right? Yeah. Memphis Spence, Pete Medhurst, absolutely. I would concur with that.
Those are 2 of the 4 on Mount Rushmore. We'd have to talk long and hard about who the other 2 are. Maybe just Stanford Steve for the name.
For the yeah, and we got Stanford Steve so early.
Mike Golick was super early.
That was first 5 episodes? We had
no, Golick was
not first 5?
No. Blake Harrell was like first 10.
Yeah.
Chris Johnson. Shane Carden.
That's a We had Shane on. Yeah. We got. I would like to redo the Jeff Blake one. We had Jeff on, but he was kind of walking. And
I forgot all about that one, man.
Yeah. That was. I would love to redo the Jeff one.
We got it. We got another one in the chamber that I just need to pull the trigger on and get him on. We should have done it last week.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
but we'll get it done. We'll get it done. All right, Josh, you awake back there?
We're sitting at 2 hours, so we gotta speed.
Let's get through this stuff. What else we got?
All right, let's run gambling corner.
Apologies, Josh.
These 4.
Don't apologize. They are getting 2 hours of free content.
He's apologizing to me.
Right. Now apologize to the people. Just to Josh.
Don't apologize to Josh. He's been back there. I saw him dozing off back there.
All right, first game of the week is our upcoming opponent versus our previous opponent. UTSA travels to the great city of Charlotte. UTSA is minus 1050 outright, 18.5 point road favorite over Charlotte, plus 675. Over under is 59.5. UTSA does not cover, period. But UTSA does win, and the over hits.
I concur. UTSA wins. I don't think they cover. They're not playing in the Alamo Dome, so who knows? And then I'll take the over. I really do like what if Grayson Loftus can have a little bit of time to make his reads. I like what he can do with the football.
Gotcha. I can't give this a lock of the week, so I got to say UTSA covers. Give me the over, and UTSA covers. I think Charles packed it all the way in.
Next game, UNC Billy Belichick goes to Wake Forest, wins to Salem. Plus 190 outright for UNC, 6.5 point road dogs. Wake Forest minus 230. The over-under is not 38.5. I got to check that number. That's supposed to be 58.5. But yeah.
I so badly, like, just for what they did by canceling our game, I so badly want to take Carolina.
It is 38.5.
It is 38.5.
Yeah, I just checked. Okay. Yeah.
Carolina has the opportunity to do the funniest thing the rest of the way. I mean, beating Wake Forest this week and then figuring it out and beating NC State to close out the season so that they both end up at, let's say, 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolina ends up playing us in the Military Bowl. That would be the funniest thing possible. I don't know that it's going to happen. Give me, and this is more so for the meme, give me Carolina Fuck Wake. And I think this ends up being like a 13-10 game. Like this is a ugly game. I'm taking the under.
Yeah, look, you don't know what you're getting week to week with Wake Forest. I was actually going to take Carolina regardless, regardless of the news of Wake ducking us. That Wake SMU game was such a snooze fest. Like that was an awful football game. That was an awful football game to watch. Between two pretty decent teams. But yeah, I'm gonna take Carolina. I'm gonna take the under, and yeah, give me UNC.
I'm going to take UNC as well, only because UNC will be the 2025 state champion for the state of North Carolina, running the table against all their North Carolina opponents. This is number 2 that they would have to get through. Give it to them. I will have the over, though, on this one. I do think that points are scored. Just late comeback rally for UNC here. All right, our national game, the biggest game of the week, regardless of what anyone else has to say about it. Number 21, Iowa, plus 200 outright, plus 7 on the points. At number 17, USC, the only top 25 ranked matchup, I believe, this weekend, was minus 245 outright, 7-point home favorite. I believe so.
No.
What's the other one?
We got Texas and Georgia.
Texas, Georgia this weekend.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Talking about college football casual.
Hold on. There's no way that's the only ranked versus ranked match.
We're 2 hours and 2 minutes. Sorry,
Notre Dame Pitt.
The only ranked matchup that matters. The only ranked matchup that matters, because one of these teams will be on the outside of the college football playoff, and the other one will likely be at large, based on this result. Over under 49.5.
I'm still not that impressed with USC. And so therefore I really liked what I saw. I liked what I saw out of Iowa more than what I didn't like that I saw out of Oregon last week, if that makes any sense.
I mean, Oregon had to win on the walk-off field goal. Does that mean
I'm taking Iowa to go into LA and win this game. And I'll take the under.
Yeah, I think I do agree with you. You got the Children of the Corn against Hollywood. Iowa's going to force you to play their kind of game. They just are. They're just gonna. It doesn't matter who you are. They're gonna force you to play their style of football game. They're due for one of these as far as winning a matchup like this. So I'm gonna take Iowa. I'm gonna take the under, and they go into LA and win that game.
Not so fast, folks. USC will not only win this game, they will cover the 7-point spread, and the over will also hit on this game. Don't sleep on Link. Don't sleep on Link.
Look, he needs to put it together. I need to see USC fully put it together. He's had enough time.
Last game, best game. Memphis on the road, plus 120, 2.5-point road dog. East Carolina University, minus 142 outright. The over-under currently set at 59.5. I will not be at this game. I will go ahead and pick the game first. Memphis to win and the over.
Artie.
Honestly, after talking to Memphis Spence, I have more confidence in ECU winning this game now than I did coming into the show. This matchup still frightens me. I still don't like this matchup with Memphis. It's still an excellent football team. I'm going to take ECU, though. I'm going to take ECU. I'm going to take them to cover. And, yeah, give me the over. There's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Give me the over.
ever since Saturday, I've been looking at this game and thinking the entire time I thought I'm gonna take the under no matter what. Just because purely
over 20 points for like 1,000 years now. So
yeah, but
points scored.
purely based on the fact that these are two of the top defenses, not only in the country, like conference, but in the country. These are two very good defenses going against each other. Knowing that Memphis has some injuries, especially at the quarterback position, also on that offensive line. But after talking to Memphis Spence, I think that this is going to be a track meet. Give me East Carolina to cover. Something feels different about this East Carolina football team, and I'm going to take the over.
I'll just say we have not been hit with the turnover monkey yet. I believe this game is the one.
You shut your mouth.
I'm just saying.
All right. Well, boys, good episode. Make sure you're following us on social media at Boneyard Podcast, at the Boneyard Podcast on TikTok. Subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Also subscribe on YouTube. Give that notification bell a click. Hit that like button. Go buy some Roback, 20% off. Boneyard 20. So we can do more of these 2-hour episodes. Josh is looking at me like, Jared, shut up. No more 2-hour episodes. All right, that's all I got. Let's show out for these seniors this weekend. Get into Dowdy Ficklen Stadium and be loud and stay the entire time. Artie, let's go.
Absolutely. We will see you on Saturday, Pirate Nation. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Deuce.
Go damn Pirates.